Garden flags, popular item. You can sublimate these easily. You can buy these blanks like this here, 100% polyester. You can get them on Amazon, they're not expensive. And then you can get the stands, and there's all kinds of things you can put on them. And I'm going to show you how I do this. You do not have to go the full size of the fabric. This happens to measure 11 3/4 by 17 1/2. Of course, at the very top would be where the rod goes from your hanger, so you don't necessarily need to sublimate up there. And there's about a 1/4 inch of a hem on each side, so you don't need to go all the way that way. So I'm going to be using 11 by 17 sublimation paper and designs. You could also go 8 1/2 by 11 and just center it, or you could go the 8 1/2 by 14 if you get legal size sublimation paper, which would give you a longer print, but it still would not completely fill the flag. Now there's different sizes of these, so you're going to have to look a little bit. But I'm going to show you how I do this step by step coming up. I'm Roger, welcome to what I call the loft above the shop, and this is where we do a lot of the crafting and laser work and all kinds of things up here. That's needs to be in a clean place and not dirty like down in the shop where it's all dusty and sawdust and hot and humid and all that kind of stuff. So what I'm going to be doing today is making garden flags. And as I mentioned at the beginning, you can buy these blanks here on Amazon, and they're not expensive. One of the things you'll need to kind of look at is sometimes the hems are not sewn real straight. I don't know if you can see that on there. It doesn't always affect your outcome, but it's just something to be aware of. Another thing you need to know about these are you cannot sublimate on both sides. You can do one side or the other, but it will show through pretty much. It's pretty thin fabric. So you can't do both sides of it, not on this one here. And as I mentioned also at the beginning, you do not necessarily have to fill the whole space. I'm going to be making these to fill pretty much the whole space using 11 by 17 paper. These flags also come a little bit bigger, and for that I have 13 by 19 paper, but I also have a printer and a heat press that will handle that. If you're doing the, let's say the 8 1/2 by 14 legal size sublimation paper, you can use the 12 by 15 heat press for that just fine. When you get into the bigger stuff like this, you need a big heat press. And I've got a big Signature Series 16 by 20 bed press I'll be using to do this. So let me go on the computer here and I'll show you how I get all this set up. And I'm be using Creative Studio because I'm using a Sawgrass SG-1000 printer. But the graphics layout would be pretty much the same whatever program you use. The steps would just be a little different because the way the Sawgrass works. So let's go to the computer. Okay, here's one that I just finished doing, and I'm going to do another one here that we're going to theme for Halloween. So start new here, and it gives you this little 8 by 8 square. Not what I want. Custom canvas, and of course I'm doing this in inches, 11 by 17. Which I already have entered in there because I've done several of these already. Create that and it gives you your canvas. Now I'll go up here to my gallery. I have my own images in here, and I'm going to be using this little Halloween themed one right here. And of course, as you can see, it doesn't quite fill the page there, so we're going to scale that up just a little bit, about there. This down. I'm going to line this in the center. There we go. I'll head up here to print. Yeah, I'm using the bypass tray, and my page size is what they call tabloid is 11 by 17. And my product I'm going on to is polyester. I'm actually using Hippo paper, but it's similar to Texprint R. And of course, for the one high quality photographic, disable the color palette. Of course, we're going to want this mirrored. I'm actually going to do 2 copies of this. And I could also do that in the Sawgrass Print Manager as well. I'll show you where that is. So this will load up and it will send it to the queue. Okay, it's been queued, so I'll click on OK here, and that'll open up the Sawgrass Print Manager. And there it is. And they'll give you a little preview of it here in just a minute. Okay, so if I go up here to Jobs, you'll see here it's going to be 2 copies. I'm going to widen. No, I'm going to leave that alone. 10.9 by 16.3, that'll work. I'll just hit print here. That sends it to my printer. Okay, so what kind of other prep are we going to have to do while this is printing? I already have quite a few other graphics printed that we're going to be using, but as you can see, there's some wrinkles in this. So I'm going to take it over to the heat press, and I'm going to just press it lightly for a little bit. It'll take the wrinkles out. It'll take any type of moisture that's in there, or any moisture. It'll take it out, because you don't want any moisture in there either. As far as if there's a front or a back to this, not really. The way the hem is made, I suppose I'll make that the back. But once it's on the rod, you're not really going to notice. One other thing too, when you purchase your blanks, before you make your graphics up, actually measure, because they're not all exactly the same size. So let's head over to the heat press. We'll get this prepped. Okay, a couple things you want to do, and I don't have to do this for the pre-press, but you want to have a piece of paper underneath to protect your plate. And I also have a Teflon sheet under there. I'll just lay my flag on here. I'm going to put, as I said, I'll put that hem side down. There again, you don't necessarily have to have another piece of paper here, but I do anyway. And I'll press this here for just a little bit, and I won't lock it down. I'm just going to hold it probably for 10 seconds or so. Now the next step, and don't omit this, this is important, is a lint roller. Because if there's any lint spots on this at all, or any lint, you'll have little purple speckles on your finished print. And these lint rollers are not expensive. This is actually from Dollar Tree. And they work very well for this. So once we have all that, kind of get our piece centered there. I'll take our trick-or-treat graphic here, which is right here. It's been mirrored. So we'll get that position where we want it here. And as you can see, if you look at the very top of that, that hem is not sewn straight at all. I'm going to put a little piece of heat tape up at the top so this doesn't shift. Yeah, we get everything where we want it. Put a protective piece of paper on top of that. 385 degrees for 60 seconds is what I'm pressing. Medium pressure. Yeah, remove my protective paper and nothing bled through. That's a good thing. This is hot, so you need to be careful. There's our flag. Trick or treat. I'll get another one set up here, just in case you missed anything. You can see how I did this again. Okay, again, I'm laying this with the hem side down. This one isn't sewn very straight either. But you won't notice that once it's on the stand. I'll press this again for about 10 seconds, take out the wrinkles. Well, most of the wrinkles anyway. On the lint roller. This graphic is Welcome Santa, because we have cookies, and you'll see that here when we get this taken off. I'll get everything centered here like I want it. There again, you can see how crooked that hem is up there. And again, a little piece of heat tape at the top, just to keep insurance, keep it from shifting. My paper back over the top. So far I've had no ink bleed, but it only takes once to ruin a plate or something. And back in, again, 385 for 60 seconds. Medium pressure. And if you've never done this before, that steam is normal. It's not smoke, that's steam. Oh, this is hot. There we go, Santa. Please stop here. We have cookies. Okay, here's one of the finished flags on a stand, and you can pick these stands up all over the place. I buy them in bulk from Amazon, but here you can kind of get an example of what it is, and right here is why you can't really sublimate on both sides. It's because this material is so thin. It would be possible to put 2 flags on here. Be a little bit of a trick, but you could do it to have one facing the other in the back, but most people just have these facing one way, and you can easily change these by just slipping the fabric over the little hook on the end down here, like so, and you could put something else on it. So there again, there's one of the flags. I'm doing quite a few different ones for this craft show next weekend. I thought I'd take you through this, how to make it step by step. That's very easy. Once again, if you do not have a big heat press and have like a 12 by 15 or a 15 by 15, you can use the legal size sublimation paper or even the 8.5 by 11 and just center your graphic in the middle of the flag. Or you could also do it in 2 parts if you wanted to try that. I haven't tried doing it in 2 pieces, but I don't see why you couldn't. It would depend on your design and how well you laid it out. So if you get anything out of this, appreciate getting a thumbs up. Always helps the channel. I'm Roger in the loft above the shop making garden flags. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.